So today's topic is unleashing the power of Sitecore marketing automation. And the agenda for the webinar will be a quick introduction, overview, then what is Sitecore marketing automation, the case studies, demo, and we can then go forward into Q&A session. So thank you, Anandita, to introduce me. I'll just keep it over. I like to share my knowledge on the blogging site, that is sitecorediaries.org. And you can just make a note of my handles on LinkedIn and Twitter if you want to connect and discuss it further. It's Kenkre-Rohan for LinkedIn and Kenkre_Rohan for the Twitter. Or now it's X. Overview. Yeah. So as the definition says, that streamlining and automating marketing tasks using technology, right? So this is a definition of marketing automation. So we have been working in the web applications for a long time, but what we do is generally our role is building a website, pushing it live, and then just maintaining it, right? We are not going behind the curtains and what is happening and what we can do further to get the value to that website. So what I want to say is, let's take an example of a simple website. You go to any of the website which are live on the internet right now. Every time you go to the homepage, you will see a subscription form in the footer or just above the footer, right? What it specifies is the website owners or the marketing team tries to collect the data. Like if the users are liking the information on the website, they can subscribe and they will get the new data, right? That's a simple form. Like you put your email and you click subscribe. But that is nothing but a lead for the marketers and they value it more. So what happens is once a user submits a form, that lead will be submitted in the site. If we are talking in the case of Sitecore thing, it will be a Sitecore form and it will be saved in the form DB, right? And let's say if it's a normal website, then what will happen is the email will be triggered to the admin team. And that's where the manual labor starts, right? A marketer has to copy the information from that submission, that email, and add it to the master list. Now, this master list will be used whenever they want to send a bulk emails for the campaigns that they do, maybe like a simple thought of like collecting 5 case studies and 2-3 blogs and sending a monthly update to the interested user. So that is a subscription and that much of labor. Now I just gave you an example of a single user doing it, right? Subscribing. You can think of if like there are 10 to 15 users subscribing a website on daily basis, then it's almost an hour or like 2 hours job for a marketer every day that to do that activity, right? So that's where we can use tools. And this is a simple example, right? It's not a single activity for the marketing automation. It is one of the marketer's tasks that I talked about. And what we can achieve from marketing automation is, as you see the bullet points, lead generation, lead nurturing, campaign management, personalization, reporting, customer retention. I have all of this and we'll discuss it further, but this is known as marketing automation. So what we are trying to do here is take one simple activity that a marketer does on repeat daily basis and is a repeatable activity and can be automated using a technology. This is the definition of marketing automation. Now we'll see what is Sitecore marketing automation, right? So Sitecore marketing automation is nothing but the tool that is equipped with all these things in Sitecore, right? So it will help you automate repeated activities to free up marketers' time, enroll and evaluate session, and in real time. Now, the real time, when we say real time, right, we always something comes to our mind like Google Analytics. It's a real time thing. When you come to Sitecore Analytics, it's not a real time, but it matches the real time. So you can see like a 5 to 6 minutes delay and you'll see the data in Sitecore Analytics, right? So for marketing automation, over past few years where I have implemented it, my experience at the real time means it should takes you a gap of 20 minutes. And I'll tell you why the gap is, right? So if anyone has worked on the latest versions of Sitecore, there is a API service called XConnect, right? So what happens is when a user comes in, has all these activities done on the website, And when the user ends, that's where the X Connect processes start, right? So all this data is pushed, like the goals, the campaigns, or the journey of the user, is posted to the X Connect API points. That X Connect API points goes to the processing service and the reporting service, and then the marketing automations, right? So there are these three services which work in a background. And once everything is done, then the data is posted to the XDB, right? So all this circle of events takes some time, which I've seen that it takes around 20 minutes to update whatever you're doing on the end. It takes 20 minutes to be exactly updated in XDB, and that's where it will be indexed in your Solar, and that's where you'll be able to see it in the dashboard, right? So these are the events that happen in background uh, for marketing automation, right? That was one. Then make decisions based on any data point. We'll discuss this in case study. Perform visible and backstage marketing action. This is nothing but a simple case study that we discuss about the subscription model, right? And true omni-channel orchestration is nothing but, you can imagine, like we always have seen Sitecore as a web application or web CMS, but now it has a capabilities where you can integrate it with omnichannel. Like you can create mobile apps. You might have already seen the talks around in the community how it's doing its presence in the headless, right? In the similar way, like if you have web-based implementation, it can be easily integrated with the mobile apps as well. So now let's discuss case studies. So this will be a bit time consuming one and a theoretical one, but I want you guys to imagine the scenarios and how you can do it in your website, right? I bet everyone is working in the Sitecore applications and have enterprise client who might be looking for something similar. So first is a goal based one, right? So imagine, like I've taken an example of brochure download, but technically goal based is like you can create any goal, you can assign it to anything, or you can write a custom logic to trigger this goal, and then you can just use it in your marketing automation and it will work the way you want. So let's discuss about brochure download goal, right? So imagine you are maintaining a car dealer website. Okay, and in the dealer website, a user comes on your website and goes to the car detail page, and in the car detail what you have done is you have the photos, you have the information, and for the ease of user you have one PDF, which you call the specification brochure, for example. So what happens is user will download that brochure. At the same time, what you need to do is you need to trigger a goal for that activity. Now, this is a very specific lead for your marketers. If somebody is downloading that PDF, means that person is like at least 50% interested in your product or the car, right? Now, what you need to do as a marketer is have a marketing automation. You cannot do it manually, right? Like every time a goal is triggered, an email will come to you. And even to trigger that email, you need a marketing automation. But like how you can automate stuff is, let's say once a brochure is downloaded, you can have a simple marketing automation which will, like, it will trigger a goal, it will start a marketing automation, you will put a delay of let's say 24 hours or 48 hours, so that user gets the time to go through all the pages in the PDF, and then you can have a simple email stating that hope our hope our brochure was able to answer all the questions that you might have about the car, but let's say if you have any more questions, should we connect you to our like the sales representative. Or the other email can be a simple one like, would you like to have a test drive of this vehicle? And that's how the lead nurturing, like lead generation, happened when the first click the brochure was downloaded. Now you're nurturing that lead, right? After 24 or 48 hours, you're taking a follow-up, but no human interaction is required. It can be done through a simple marketing automation task, right? So that's how you do it for goal-based one. Now, this was a simple scenario. You can implement almost in any website. You can implement this one, right? Second is creation of subscription list. We spoke something about it during the overview, right? So now let's take a bigger picture of it. Now let's say a marketer is always doing this manual labor, to take this email and put it in the master list. Okay, and he's getting it 10 to 15 leads a day, and that person is eager to still like he's happy, he or she is happy to do it manually, and they're doing it. Let's say now you might have heard about GDPR, right? Like what GDPR says is if there is no user consent, you cannot try to contact them, right? So that means if a user is not interested in your emails anymore, then you should not send them. So what happens is if some users after let's say a month or two are not interested by the content that the marketing team is sending, they will obviously try to unsubscribe from your subscription list. Now this is an overhead on the manual work. Right now the user like marketers need to track who is unsubscribing, because they need to again remove these users from the master list. And if you can imagine, if there is a manual since it's a manual work, there can be a human error, right? Let's say they skipped one email where they need to unsubscribe. That can that can turn them into a financial penalty, right? So if you're based out of Europe or the US or the North America, and you're sending somebody an email without their consent, they can sue you very well, right? If you're a bigger brand, they mostly try to sue you. So now this was just a human error of not removing a single email from the master list. So to do this, we can easily use marketing automation, and there is a minimal chances of this kind of errors, right? Because it's all automated and there is no human interventions in it. And the last one is nothing but a decision-based automation. This is like a very easy one. You like how we used to study the flowcharts and algorithms. You might have seen that diamond, right? So the diamond has two arrows. Left will be your true, like either way, like it will one will be true, one will be false. So let's say your diamond says two-wheeler. So is the user interested in geared or non-geared? And then you can send the emails based on that content, right? So if it is false, then you send them email with let's say top 3 non-geared bike options for you. And if it is a geared one, then you can send them top 3 geared bike option for you, right? So these are the case studies of marketing automation. What I told you is, you can say, a very high level and simple marketing automations where you will be doing 2 3 things in marketing automation and you will be achieving your full marketing automation. What I'm not put in the case studies is marketing automation is capable of doing very complex scenarios, which I'll give you an example. I'm not discussing it today in this webinar, but like for Indians, I think you might have seen the complex scenario in banking, maybe a home loan procedure, right? So where you start with just starting the eligibility, whether you are eligible for a loan, home loan, then you get a letter, right? Then the second step is you put in the property details, like which is the area, how much square meters, what is the value. Based on that details, you will again get a sanction letter, whether you are capable based on your income, based on your form 16. Are you capable of getting that much of loan or 80% of that total loan? Then you get the letter, approval letter. Then the amount is credited. Then when the possession is there, you get the full loan amount dispersed, and it gets a complex scenario in there. So even that can be automated with the minimal interruption, like interventions of the human beings, right? So that is what you can achieve with marketing automation. So you can understand the capability of this tool. So I'll just pause for a second here and just wait if you want to discuss anything in the case studies. And if not, then I'll move ahead with the demo. Do we have any questions here? We'll go, so the demo will be around the subscription flow that we discussed twice or thrice in this thing, right? So now marketing automation needs a different thing. So I'll touch base everything here. So that was the demo. Let's start. So this is nothing but a simple launchpad of Sitecore 10.3. You might have already seen a different. No, yeah, I just forgot in the beginning to say that now your marketing application or marketing automation is piece of the XP, right? The whole package of Sitecore. If you are working on Sitecore XM, then it will not be a part of your instance. It is like when you have XM plus XDB, you will be able to see this marketing automation. Okay. So now this is a full 10.3 XP installation. You can see the marketing applications, and here you can see marketing automation. So I'll give you a simple one, like what all it has and what all things. Before we go to subscription, I'll try to make you understand how the marketing automation works. So for marketing automation, it is something similar to workflow, right? You will have something to start and you will be ending it at the end of the day. Now start, right? So this is kind of a funnel, like what you want to put it in the funnel. So it can be either completing goal, events, or outcome. So we discuss more about the goal, right? So in the initial one, what we said, like a brochure download. So we can say you can select the goal here. It's a brochure request. Click on apply. So it shows you start and end. Now I was talking about putting a delay, right? So here it's a simple thing, and the other elements you can put a delay, and then you can say delay for, right, or delay until. So I'll put a delay for, let's say, 2 days if you want 48 hours, or if you want like 30 hours you can put hours, and then you have minutes as well. So put a delay of 2 days, and then you can just simply send an email, right? And the email can be the one that you create, like the one that we discussed, right? Whether you want to take a test drive, or whether you want to know more and you want to talk to the sales representative. So all these options that you see here comes from the EXM. So you can see it here, trigger an automated email campaign from EXM. So this piece will be, you will need a template in EXM which you can select here, right? The subscription notification, for example, and you can send an email and then it will end, right? So this can be your simplest case study that we discussed before. Now, okay, let's say you, again, there are a couple of things that are very important. First is your name should be very unique name. So you need to put a unique name based on your project, maybe marketing automation, your project name, and what it stands for, right? Let's say a brochure download. So that is fine. The main thing is here, like you will need the start date. The start date can be the same day where you are creating it, but what is important is your end date. Let's say you want it for infinite, right? Almost, then at least go for year like 2033, like at least for 10 years. By then you will be upgrading the project for sure. So at least select the 10 years and you can select the same date, right? Or if you have a limited, like there can be a marketing automation during a specific offers like a Black Friday, right? Then you can select a single day or two where you want this automation to work. Now what this is a very important one, maximum enrollments. So you can see one and then you can see unlimited. So unlimited means a same user can go through this um, automation again and again, or get that user enrolled to this automation again and again. So in case of subscription, we don't want it, right? If the user is subscribed, then we don't want to subscribe him again or want to add him to the list again. So in that case, I'll just go one. Okay. But let's say if you're doing an offer, let's say if you shop for 5,000, then you get a coupon of 500 off, right? And you're not bothered whether that user, like it is a single coupon per person, or you are just about, it's about a value, right? If somebody is shopping about 5,000, you're giving that coupon. In that case, you can keep it unlimited. Okay. And once you do this and click save, it will get active. Okay. I'll just show you now. No, sorry, you'll need to activate it manually. What I wanted to show you is if I activate this, right, then you'll not be able to modify anything. Now I'll not be able to change anything. You see that everything is disabled. So in that case, if you want to edit anything for the active marketing automation, then first thing you do is deactivate it. Then you can come here and then you can put 3, you can apply, and then you need to activate it again. Okay. So if your marketing automation is active, then you'll never be able to modify anything inside that. Okay. Okay, so I'll put another case study in here itself. That was a decision point, right? Let me click apply and try to. Okay, what decision I'll need to have a goal triggered. Yeah. Let's say your goal is, maybe your goal can be now geared and non-geared. So I'm just selecting a instant demo, for example, and then I can have another decision if you want, or it can be yes, no. Triggered, fine. Your goal is not triggered, you can say go to the end. Triggered, then you can, if that's not, yeah, yes, then here you can put the rule, right? Any rules, like here you can have custom rules. These are nothing but the personalization rules that we use to personalize, right? These are the same set of rules that you can use. Now a simple thing can be a date has passed, the contact interacted on channel between the date. Yeah, maybe like that's what we were talking about. If you want to give an offer between Thanksgiving and Black Friday, then it can be maybe a day before and till today, and then you can send the email based on that. So if it's between here, then you give the offer email, as simple as sending an offer email, and then again it will come from exm, and if no, it will just go and end it. Okay, this can be your simplest. So this is your goal base, this is your decision point. Okay, so these were the scenarios how you do it and the way to do it. I'll just come back now. Let's go to the subscribe. So before we go to marketing automation, what I want to show is in the front end, right? To subscribe anything, you will have a form, right? So if a user wants to subscribe on your website, you will have a form. You'll put an email ID for sure, and then you'll click subscribe. So that form is nothing but your Sitecore form. Yeah. And how we trigger Sitecore form is you can add a custom submit action. So if you click on this subscribe, you will see that I save data, which is a out of the box method, and then I trigger a goal that is a subscribe goal. Okay, very simple thing. But I have what I've done is I want to add that contact in our XDB. So what I've done is I've used a submit action called identify contact. Now this is not the out of box one. This is if you have heard about it, it's a Sitecore form extension method, but it's not that difficult. If you don't want to use that module, then you can just write your custom submit action where you just take the email from the submitted form and then create a user in your XDB, right, using the XConnect API. So that's all it is doing. So your main method here is trigger goal. Okay. Now, once you do that, another piece of tool that will be useful is your list. We were talking about a master list, right, where we can use that list to send emails. So what I'll name it as a subscription list. So whenever a user tries to subscribe from that form, I want to add the user to the subscription list. And when I want to send bulk emails, I'll use this list, right? That's a simple point. So let's go to the marketing automation and see what the email looks like, what the marketing automation. So this is nothing but a very simple marketing automation, right? You have a start, a goal will be triggered, that is a subscribe, which is the same goal you have just seen in the form, right? And what I do is I try to use a method task called add a contact to a list, and the list that I've given is a subscription list, and then it ends. So this is very simple. So if I add something like I just added a user before this sugbl.com, right? Now once I click subscribe, I'll need to end this session, right? Once this session ends, then only the tools, everything like the flow that I explained before, it takes around 20 minutes to complete, right? But I can show you the list that I did just before. If I go here, so once you have this list, you always have an action here where you can export the contacts. All right, I can click and you can see whoever has subscribed. You can see here, like before this webinar, I had just used this one. Like even if we go ahead for 20 minutes, I can show you the one that I submitted just now, right? And this emails you can use to send the bulk emails, right? This was simple, right? There is nothing like you have one form where you have a submit action where you try to trigger the goal. Second is your marketing automation where it goes, checks whether the goal was triggered, then it finds the master list and adds it. Now, the other part of the story will be if somebody or the same user, right? The same user came to the website, or obviously in your emails you will have an unsubscribe list, right? Whenever you send an email to the user, in the footer most of the time it's compulsory or mandatory to keep a unsubscribe list, right? Maybe you're using out of the box value tool, emailing tools like exm, or maybe it can be Peridot, or it can be email chip, right? Whichever things you're using. But what you can do is you can customize that unsubscribe link. Why I'm saying that is because whenever a user thinks of unsubscribing, right, it's direct instead of directly unsubscribing, it's always better to understand why that user left or trying to leave the subscription list, right? So what we generally do is like I put user, like obviously that user will put their email, and then you have a reason. Like the reason can be what, based on your website it can be anything. The things that came to my mind was the emails are spamming your inbox, right? The user thought that he or she will receive only a single email per month, but we are just trying to send like crazy 10 emails per month, right? Which is a crazy for any person. Or the second thing can be, even if you're sending one email, the content is not tailored to the user's requirement, right? And they will unsubscribe it. When you're unsubscribing, what you need to do is I need to understand that there is a master list and this user needs to be removed, right? Otherwise, I can end up into financial penalties. So for that, I'll just walk you through again through the forms. So as we saw, there will be a simple form, Sitecore form, which will have your save data, which is out of the box because I want to understand the reasons of the users. And second will be a trigger goal. And this time what I'm doing is I'm triggering a goal, name is unsubscribe. Okay, so this is a simple form that we saw. And again, what I've done is this is not required, but what I'm doing is whoever is unsubscribing, again, I've created a master list to save the unsubscribe list. I'll tell you why this can be important in long-term goal. But for now, if it's only of managing your master list for subscription, you don't need this. Okay. But I've added it and I'll give you a scenario where you can use it. And your marketing automation will be very simple, like unsubscribe. Uh, I'll go back. Yeah. So the first start will be the goal, which is unsubscribe. Then what I'm doing is I'm adding it to the master, like add contact list. I'm adding it to the unsubscribe list, right? The master unsubscription list. And then I'm unsubscribing from the list, which means I'm removing that user from the master list. And then it will end, right? So that's done. And then the user will be automatically removed from the list. Sorry, I'll show you. So what happens is when you're reporting, right, you know how many users left you, right? If you just don't create this list, then what happens is you don't know the report. But here you can just go here, export the context, and you can see how many it's still opening. Yeah, how many users have unsubscribed from the list, right? This is one scenario. Second thing can be, uh, let's say there is another email campaign that is going on in your company, and let's say you are planning to use the same subscription list, right? Or you can let's say imagine a scenario, this is like a bulk email monthly thing, and now you want to send all the users that are interested in one of the car, right? And what happens technically is that now when you are trying to send email specific to the product, there will be 2 3 sources of the email. One can be your website, one can be Google Analytics, one can be the trade shows that you're doing in person, right? So there can be forms that the user filled in like 5 months ago, and now since there is a launch of the product, you're trying to send the email, you might not know that user has unsubscribed from your mailing list. So what you can do is you can create a master list for that product and the users interested in product, and make sure that to put a clause like if a user is a part of unsubscribed list, don't send the email. And with this one thing, what you can do is you will be able to save the financial penalties to your organization. I can show you how you can do it. Right? Let's create another basic one. So let's say uh, you can enroll anything, right? This can be like any role for now. Okay, I'm just adding this one, and what you're trying to do is you want to just send the emails. Okay, this will be your product related emails. Now here what you want to do is you want to make sure that your uh, user is not part of unsubscribe list, right? So for that, what you can do is you can do a outcome register. You can have what outcome you want to put. Email is only yes, oh sorry, no, why, and then you can select the outcome, maybe anything for now. Okay, and here you want to check a decision, right? And again I'll put it no. Okay, and what you want to put in the rules list, and here in the list name you can say unsubscribe. Okay, and click apply. Okay, so you see here what happens. So there will be some goals like the product and the outcome that you check, and the thing you want to do is you want to send email only when the users. Okay, what I did is where the contact is contact list. Okay, what I need to do is technically I don't want to do it here. I need to send email when only. Correct. It was correct. Sorry, I got just confused. Sorry for the confusion. So when a user is part, let's say if user is a part of unsubscribe list, means that user is not interested in getting the emails, right? So what will happen is your user is a part of unsubscribe list. It will say yes, and it will go to end. Okay, and when your user is not part of your list, it will go here, and then the email will be sent. So in any case, in any scenario, if you see here, if a user is part of your unsubscribe master list, that user will never receive an email, which makes you confirm that you will not have any financial penalties, right? So that's how this works. Okay, so I think I'm almost done with the demo. I'll just see if the list got updated. I don't think so. Yeah, I think it takes 20 minutes. Till then, let's see if we have any questions. So the next is Q&A session. So any questions?